Live on Zach TV1. It's 4:19 in the morning, West Coast time in Las Vegas. We having the building.
It's your boy Fbg Brick, man. Number 30, y'all know.
Number 30, man.
You know what I'm
The
saying?
little brother.
Little brother, yeah, my big little brother.
That's what's
You know
up.
what I'm saying?
So how was it growing up with Duck? Was it tough times? Like,
Oh yeah, we had a lot of rough time, bro. Everyone know we come from the Ivy Wells projects, you know what I'm saying? We was shorties and shit though, like before it got real rough on us, my grandma moved us from down there and shit to the hundreds, you know what I'm saying? But me, shit, I couldn't leave them. I found my way, shit. Duck found his way somewhere else, you know what I'm saying? I stayed loyal to the niggas I grew up with, you know what I'm saying? He found them a different set of niggas and took over shit, you know? That's why we at where we at now.
Recently was seen on social media video circulating Mama Duck talk about his son's been killed or backdoored by his affiliate Jaro City. And she talked about her son. Fbg Duck was almost killed by 63rd known killers.
They would have backdoored my baby if them niggas from O Block wouldn't have got him first. Was so STL, now they Jaro crazy. Jaro killed my son. And my cousin. That's why my son wasn't with them no more. I don't.
In 1992, she lost her 1-year-old in a drive-by shooting. In 2007, she lost her 2-month-old baby. Later, she lost twins in a house fire. And finally, she endured the devastating losses of Brick and Duck. The full picture shows even more tragedy than initially believed, painting Mama Duck as a woman who has survived unimaginable pain while still speaking out against the violence that claimed her children. What you need to now, Sheena Weekly, aka Mama Duck. After her 3-year-old daughter died in a home fire, no mother should have to deal with all this pain. She birthed many kids, and 5, they all died tragically. Wow, my heart goes out to her.
Brick is my firstborn. The Don is my secondborn. Duck is actually my 4th born, but he's my 3rd child that's living. And I'm gonna keep it real, y'all. I ain't finna be on here going back and forth with this little man about what he thinks he knows about me. This man want to speak on my deceased kids. I have 5 death certificates and this and that. But Brick got his GED, his good enough diploma, when he was locked up. So he got his. This is my son, the Don, who I was talking about the other day, how he started the whole trend. Like, he was so active in basketball, baseball. He was like the poster child in 2004 for all the park districts. Right now, today, he's on a landmark news station located on State and Lake downtown. His picture is still actually on the news stand that's downtown. Now, you want to pull up receipts and show diplomas, that's good. I'm proud of your kids. Okay? My son has 2 degrees. He has a degree in business. My other son almost went to the NBA, William, but the death of his brother, he became like kind of real depressed. So he didn't quite give up, but he it was a bad time for him. We all go through things.
So whoever's sitting and blame Mama Duck, you gotta understand what she feel as a mother. Imagine in 1992, she lost her 1-year-old from a drive. Then just 15 years ahead, losing another adorable babe in. Then 2007, she lost her 2-month-old. Then the twin in the fire. And then Fbg Brick was killed with Mama Duck cousin Kobe Mack by Get Back Gang. The way of backdoored by their affiliate of Jaro City, where Kayla B. Base was at before she moved to O Block. That's why Mama Duck hate Jaro City so much, because they backdoored her babe Fbg Brick and her cousin Kobe Mack of Taekwondo World. For those who want to know the reason why Fbg Brick was backdoored, Jaro City backdoor Brick and Kobe because Fbg Brick was one of the few individuals owning gun that time, till Jaro City backdoor Brick and Kobe, because Jaro City stole or lent Fbg Brick's gun and didn't want to give it back. So they had to backdoor Fbg Brick and Colby to be killed by Get Back Gang, which is faction of O Block. Then fast forward, and Fbg Duck. On August 4th, 2020, at the age of 26 years, born Carlton Dequan Weekly Williams, aka Fbg Duck, was murdered in Gold Coast, Chicago, Illinois by King Von's friends of O Block. Now you have the background story and understand Mama Duck background story.
That's what's up, man. Talk about the short time I was in the hundreds, man. Because you do look familiar, man.
Hey, man, look, I always know we stayed on 99th and Lafayette, bro. You know what I'm saying? I was reckless young then. You know what I'm saying? All the BDs know me off 100th Street. You know what I'm saying? With bro now. Went to Cone for a year or two.
Ooh, 10-5. Wow.
No, all 10-5 niggas. Shout out my homie Skrilla, though. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
10-5 official Buggy Gang.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
MMG. Wow, that's
wrong. A lot of free wrong, you know what I'm saying? I know a lot of everybody, you know what I'm saying? I remember me because they remember Duck and Shell, you know what I'm saying? I was always the quiet, low-key one until it was time for me to go, you know what I'm saying, do anything.
Wow.
You know
so you went from the low end, from the IDP Rail projects, all the way to the Wild Hundreds, man.
I left the first place we went to from the low end was the Hundreds, you know what I'm saying?
That's a big difference, bro.
Stayed in the Hundreds for 3 years. In 2006, my grandma moved us to 64th and Damon, you know what I'm saying? Over that in the West, you know what I'm saying? A lot of it has some little stuff going on over there, so that's why we got a lot of over there. Low key, you know what I'm saying? But it be some funny shit, bro.
Okay.
And from there, you know what I'm saying? From my grandma passed away then, when I started getting locked up and shit. Like, I'm gonna just tell y'all something about me. This probably, like, a lot of people probably don't know me or wonder why I've been, wonder where I come from, might think I come out the blue. I've been in the streets, bro, since I was 13, bro. You know what I'm saying? 2003, bro, after I stopped playing baseball, bro.
Hold on,
You know what I'm saying?
baseball player?
Yeah, Little League baseball. I was dogging and shit. I had a scholarship to go to Texas, Longhorn State.
You see it?
Positive, bro.
Damn.
I played baseball.
Mama Duck had her influence background, and many people don't know that Mama Duck originally came from low-income housing projects where her grandmother once lived. Later, she moved with her sons to 63rd and St. Lawrence, STL, in Chicago. Like many mothers on Chicago's South Side, she endured hardship, conflict, and loss. However, her story stands out. The real name of Mama Fbg Duck, the mother of the late Chicago rapper Fbg Duck, Carlton Weekly, is Lashina Weekly, sometimes spelled Lashina Weekly. She is a prominent advocate for her son's legacy and filed a wrongful death lawsuit in 2024 against several figures in the Chicago rap scene regarding her son's 2020. Mama Duck was known for hosting gatherings in STL and EBT, parties where street figures, gang members, and drill rappers frequently attended. Through these events, she built strong connections in the streets and became closely tied to her son, Fbg Duck's circle. She also helped protect and guide young women, offering support to people like Kayla B during her time around Jaro City.
Happy! Stop coming for the dead people that ain't here to defend themselves. They say, what do you get out of that? And I used to tell Duck the same thing.
But he still did it.
But I guess that was his career. Clapping back at this and two boy, this and Brick. Duck, go dig them up. Really, they came out your mouth, girl, how they did your brother? Are you really serious? I'm glad they didn't do Duck like that.
Duck?
My son even died with integrity. See, he took over 17 and was still on the ground trying to get up. Just don't forget where you came from, man. And I'm happy for him, but why? Duck, 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 brick, 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 tuka, tuka, tuka.
Cause we smoking them. Nah, I'm just playing.
Him facts. I'm not saying he wasn't talented. Gee, I be to the music myself. I love music.
So what's the problem?
I love music. But if your whole career is based, like, cause I'm really trying to get this my movement going, G. Like, you know Tuka Mama about to be start speaking with the people. Like, why is his name still in your mouth?
My son. Laying on that cold ground. I knew I gotta get over there to be with my son. It hadn't even dawned on me that he was dead. I just knew my mother's intuition just kicked in and just say, go get your child. Put your child off that ground. If we see you, everything gonna be okay. My son to get up off that ground. They tried to take me away from the scene. But me and my family, we stayed there because
We start speaking with the people. Like, why is his name still in your mouth? Why is that name? You don't have a life. Shouldn't you be teaching your son how to shoot guns and say Tuka? Like, all that horrible ass shit.
With my brother until he got famous. That's a lie. Y'all don't see all the old videos of us still. Even when I was still going with the little boy, I used to be in O Block and I used to be up over there.
You lying, ooh, my crib was the shit. I made it safe for you to have somewhere to kick it to. And through parties, now it's being the you on the internet, your brother telling yourself, you think that's good parenting? The world since you do that. I ain't never taught my son nothing.
What many thought was a resolved conflict between Mama Duck and Kayla B, King Von's sister, has proven to be just the opposite. Instead of fading away, the tension only intensified, sparking new waves of chaos and drama. Before we get into their ongoing dispute, let's step back and revisit some background that connects the key players. Here is Mama Duck's background story. Mama Duck, born Lashina Weekly, is the mother of drill rapper Duck, who made the diss song well known in the street as Dead Bleaches. You know what I mean. We can't mention that word, so we use bleaches as a replacement. Lashina is also the mother of Fbg Brick too, who along with Duck were cousins to Scrap and Ruga of MOB. She grew up in the low-end housing projects before later relocating to STL, where much of this story, her sons getting into drill, gunplay, and jumping off the porch, all started.
Where we at right now, man?
Superville, man.
Hey, look, folks know, shoot new niggas be knowing STL EBT right here, man. Shout out to the game, man. Ain't no other shit. Free guys, man. You already know, man. Hey, what block I'm on, man?
You on EBT, man.
This E right here, man.
Gang.
Right here, man. Come bigger than the E's, man. You know, man. RP Lil B, man. Y'all know
RP tight Quorum, Mo D-O-N deal. We ain't forgot about y'all. Pay y'all all y'all. Ain't no getting rowdy. First squad gang in this. Tell him, man. We drop that boy. You already know how you rockin' the real ass. We out here, man. With the shits, man. We out here. Yeah, they stay out every day.
Y'all already know what's up.
We stay out here. We out here every day.
Last time I was just on FaceTime with some. Check this out, Zach. Like 3 days ago. What's going on? Y'all got Dutchy out here, girls out here. This ain't no, man, look, this every day, man. I swear to God, look, this shit every day, like everybody right here, they see me every day. I got a lot of these. That's why I was just on FaceTime with these goof like 3 days ago. I ain't gonna say their names, but they know their lane. Said, you gonna be out here, you a rapper. I'm not a rapper, I just know how to rap. Don't get that shit confused. Free C-ball, man.
Fbg Brick and Duck, just like many other kids in Southside Chicago, needed a way to make quick money through music, robbery, or selling drugs. It was in STL that Duck crossed paths with several well-known street figures, including Bostrel, K.I. Assassin, Tuka, Model, Fbg Dutchie, and Fbg Young and Cash. Over time, Wooski would also emerge in the STL scene following the high-profile killing of Reezy, a respected older member of O Block. So we have young killers catching bodies as young as 12 years old, joining Tuka and Duck, and them in STL, Mama Duck's military base. Let's call it like it is, because it can't be a regular hood mama's house, not when all the top killers and shooters were in there. Anyway, while some accounts suggest Reezy was taken out by Newtown BD, the narrative that Wooski was the killer has been widely disputed or debunked based on Wooski's ops. Always keep in mind, in the streets, rumors often come in pairs, two versions of every story, and the truth is rarely crystal clear. It could be Newtown BD or Wooski the man himself, Mr. Head Tap, STL top shooter. Many view him as a veteran who survived many wars on the South Side, especially as he was a king op. Little that many didn't know. What isn't widely known is that Wooski was originally from E Block, also known as Hattyway, with family roots tied to Hattyway Gotti World. Despite this, he spent part of his childhood living in O Block. According to his brother Big Mike, Wooski was raised in O Block, sometimes referred to as Weak City, but frequently gravitated back toward Hattyway, where he built strong ties with STL affiliates like Tuka. Back to the Mama Duck. Mama Duck's beloved son Fbg Duck didn't stop there. He brought all top killers like Melly, 051, Billionaire Black. We all know Melly, 051 Young. Money is lethal killer. He was none to play around with. Killed about 14 people and always laugh about it. He even make a hole in Wooski head in a friendly firing back while shooting back at 800 in Dusky funeral. You know what happened to OTF, THF Chino, Nusky, and Lil Durk's friends? You remember Chino Burgers? Yeah, that's Melly, aka the Gravedigger. And I can't wait to see Trump National Guards versus gang members. You gotta remember OTF Chino was a war veteran too and went to Iraq and Afghanistan and came back home safe to be killed by Melly, 051 gang member. Some member of Taekwon World also was in presence, like TB, whose real name is Terry Berry, aka Biko, was in presence, Kangatrat was in a cut in STL, Fbg Cash, and all then top shooters. Lil B EBT aka No Surrender was in presence too. Y'all know what Lil B died for in shootout and fire exchange with the CPD. CPD stands for Chicago Police Department. Remember, many MOB member and top killers of Scrap Gang were Fbg Duck's cousin. That's tell you how dangerous Fbg and STL got itself to the top with the gangs it were surrounded with. Member like Beans MOB, Dusky was in Computer Remix Song too. While Mama Duck stood at the heart of STL, many of its top shooters became etched into Chicago's drill history. Figures like Scrap and Boss Trell were often linked to the killing of Odie Perry, the same event that gave O Block its name. Reports suggest Beans and K.I. were present, with the weapon eventually passed into the hands of K.I. Assassin. That revolver later appeared in countless photos and stories tied to her. The truth of who actually killed Odie is still debated, and that story deserves its own breakdown in the future. For now, the focus remains on Mama Duck herself. Mama Duck wasn't just a bystander in the STL Fbg world. She played the role of protector and anchor for the crew. Her home became something like an army base for STL and Fbg, a safe haven where the kids could gather. She gave them loyalty, shelter, and genuine love. At the same time, people quickly learned not to mistake her kindness for weakness. Mama Duck could be just as aggressive and outspoken as the streets themselves, especially if someone disrespected her or her children. She never tolerated anyone speaking ill of her deceased sons or other fallen STL members like Tuka, Model, Fbg Cash, and K.I. Assassin and other fallen STL. Her pain is a reflection of what drill culture has cost countless families. Mama Duck has endured loss after loss, watching multiple children fall victim to the same cycle of violence that shaped their lives. Her story is not just about survival, but about carrying the weight of grief while refusing to let the names of the dead be disrespected or forgotten. During the height of the war, Mama Duck also became a voice calling for peace, a stance that often drew mixed reactions and contradictions. She even took a picture with King Von's daughter, and many couldn't help but notice how much that little girl resembled her father, a small reminder of innocence caught between two sides. Fbg Duck himself, while still alive, made efforts toward reconciliation. In his track Chicago Legends, he mentions several BD members extending an olive branch in hopes of easing the tension and ending the cycle of bloodshed. But by then, it was already too late. The wounds were too deep, and the streets never forget old diss tracks or the affiliations that fueled them. The killings on both sides had already gone too far. Some criticized Mama Duck's peace efforts, while others saw it as a necessary step toward breaking the chain of loss. Whether you agreed or not, the reality was clear. Both communities had already endured unbearable pain and trauma. At one point, Jaro City and STL maintained a strong alliance, which explains why figures like Fbg Butta, originally from Jaro City, spent significant time around STL and even fathered a child with Fbg Duck's sister. Mama Duck's real name is Lashina Weekly. She has never been silent. She consistently speaks out against anyone who disrespects her deceased sons. She is deeply respected throughout St. Lawrence, EBT, and Chicago's South Side. Even West Coast figures like JT the Bigger Figure visited her home during their time in Chicago to pay respects. Mama Duck has suffered devastating losses on hers. All his sons were lost to gun violence. Her son, Fbg Brick. Her son, Fbg Duck. Her daughter, based on statements from Lashina Weekly, known as Mama Duck. She has experienced the loss of children, including a tragic incident where one of her twin children died in a house fire. Mama Duck explained that one of her twins passed away after getting hold of a lighter, which she believed was found in a coat pocket, causing a fire. Despite this, she continues to speak publicly and defend her sons' names. Lasonia Weekly, widely known as Mama Duck, has long been outspoken about the deaths of her sons, Fbg Duck and Fbg Brick, as well as Brick's cousin, Kobe Mack. Many people believe she harbors deep anger towards C. Murda because of his alleged involvement in the events surrounding Brick and Kobe's murders. According to circulating reports and interpretations of FOIA documents, C. Murda was allegedly the getaway driver during the attack that took Brick's life. The narrative that emerged from early document breakdowns claimed that Mikado shot Kobe first, then chased Brick behind a nearby house as Brick attempted to escape by climbing a fence. As Brick tried to hop the fence, Mikado allegedly shot him in the back, causing him to fall, and another individual, often rumored online to be Cap 12, was said to have stood over him afterward. In the immediate aftermath of the killings, speculation flooded both the streets and the internet. Numerous names were mentioned, and different factions claimed responsibility. However, the first detailed FOIA breakdown shifted the conversation by suggesting there were only 3 shooters involved, one identified as Mikado, and 2 others described only by birth years, 1992 and 1998. This detail led many to conclude that certain widely accused individuals did not match the ages provided. The report also referenced statements from individuals like Status Update, also known as Fbg Kyle, who allegedly told investigators in August 2017 that Cap F12 was one of the shooters. At the same time, another so-called high-ranking O Block or 600 member reportedly gave information stating that many people falsely claimed the hit and that the shooter most people assumed was responsible was actually someone else born in 1992. The informant allegedly claimed Mikado admitted involvement and mentioned another participant born in 1998, but stated he would not testify against one of them because that person was still alive. Additional details within the report suggested that rumors about Mikado being involved in 6 or 7 murders were exaggerated, as investigators only list specific cases connected to him, including the Brick and Kobe shooting and a few other incidents. There were also references to ballistics evidence potentially linking one of the guns used in the Brick and Kobe murder to another separate case, possibly involving TB or Lil Ho, though heavy redactions made it difficult to determine which. Another theory that gained traction was that Brick or Kobe may have robbed someone from the Tookaville area shortly before their deaths, and that individual allegedly provided O Block or 600 members with their location the same day. This fueled widespread backdoor speculation, especially since the alley where Brick was ambushed was not a typical spot, leading many to question how rivals would have known his exact whereabouts without inside information. Years later, a witness was reportedly re-interviewed in late 2023 and positively identified Mikado, but admitted they did not get a clear look at the second shooter. Meanwhile, debates continued about whether HK was involved at all, with many pointing out that HK was known for claiming other bodies, and that physical descriptions in separate cases did not match him. As police reports resurfaced and more details circulated online, conversations reignited across the streets, social media, and among family members. Mama Duck once again spoke publicly, reinforcing her belief that betrayal and conspiracy played roles in her son's deaths. What remains clear is that the killings of Brick and Kobe continue to be dissected years later, with layers of redactions, conflicting statements, and street politics keeping the full truth clouded, while for Mama Duck, the pain behind those discussions is deeply personal and far from theoretical. Lashina Weekly, known publicly as Mama Duck, has lived for years under the shadow of tragedy, speculation, and relentless public debate. When people speak about the deaths of her sons, especially Fbg Brick, they rarely speak softly. They speak in theories, in accusations, in timelines, in alleged phone calls and birth dates. But for her, this is not a puzzle to solve. It is a wound that never closes. Among those who followed the case closely, one phrase continues to surface over and over again: backdoor. Some say the way everything unfolded felt too precise, too calculated to be random. Brick wasn't just anywhere. He was on St. Lawrence in the 6300 block, an area that could be busy, alive with neighbors sitting outside, people watching, conversations flowing. Word travels fast in neighborhoods like that. If someone saw him, it wouldn't take long for that information to move through the right channels. Many believe a call was made, not by coincidence, but by design. The theory suggests that someone nearby spotted Brick and alerted rivals. The block was active, people were outside. If someone had tension with him or lingering issues from years before, that information could have been passed along quickly. Names like Mikado, Trey 5, HK, and possibly C. Murda often come up in discussions. Some argue C. Murda's birth date does not align with what police documents listed, and his name is reportedly redacted in certain portions, which leaves room for doubt. But suspicion lingers regardless. The way some tell it, once the call was made, things moved fast. A vehicle slid through. The V was allegedly parked in an alley. There may have been a brief discussion, a quick confirmation of location, maybe even a debate about who would approach first. According to one version of events, HK stayed positioned in the alley while others circled. The idea is that the setup involved someone from Brick's own side unknowingly providing the opportunity. Then O Block or 600 allegedly moved in. One narrative suggests that C. Murda may have jumped out first, firing shots as Brick began running. In the chaos, Kobe Mack allegedly tried to fight back, but another shooter, often rumored to be Mikado, allegedly exited the vehicle and shot Kobe Mack multiple times before turning attention back to Brick. Brick reportedly ran toward the alley, possibly intending to jump a gate and enter a house through the back door. That back entrance may have felt like his only escape route in that split second. But if someone was already waiting there, the escape was never truly an option. Other versions of the story claim that the alleged shooters were Mikado, Cap Effic 12, and C. Murda, with Trey 5 possibly acting as another driver. Some say Cord from EBT was near the scene that day. There are also claims that Lil Joe from Jaro City may have given up Brick's location due to old personal conflicts. Whether any of this is factual or just layers of rumors stacked over time is difficult to determine, but these are the conversations that refuse to die. Yet when you look deeper into the police reports, the picture becomes more complicated and less certain. Some who have read the documents multiple times argue that much of the case against Mikado appears to be hearsay. They point out that the alleged identification came from a third-party witness, possibly Trey 5, and from a woman described as the only eyewitness in the report. What makes that troubling, according to critics, is that this eyewitness reportedly gave a completely different physical description in 2017 than Mikado's actual appearance. She described a man between 5'4" and 5'6", shorter in stature, with ear-length dreads and a medium brown complexion. Mikado, by contrast, was described as taller, light-skinned, and wearing longer dreads. Because of that discrepancy, some argue the description aligns more closely with HK, who was around 5'7" with ear-length dreads and a brown complexion. Others mention DQ as a possibility fitting that physical profile. Additionally, some insist the report confirms there were only 2 shooters, not 3, contradicting earlier street claims. They argue that Mikado's name did not appear prominently in discussions until after his death, raising questions about whether he became a convenient name once he could no longer respond. Those who analyze the report closely often ask, where is the proof that Mikado was mentioned before he passed? According to their interpretation, police documents referenced O Block members in CapVec 12 between 2017 and 2020, but Mikado's alleged involvement solidified only after a third-party witness statement and a later identification. Critics say the eyewitness, who initially gave a mismatched description, later identified Mikado after he had already died and reportedly could not identify the others. That detail alone fuels skepticism. What remains widely agreed upon, however, is that the killing of Brick and Kobe Mack was not random. Whether through direct planning or opportunistic retaliation, many believe O Block and 600 were involved in some capacity. The question is not just who pulled the trigger, but whether someone from Brick's own side unintentionally or intentionally set events in motion. The possibility of betrayal weighs heavily in these conversations. Beyond the theories, though, is something far heavier: grief. Lashina Weekly has lived in the public eye since losing her sons. She has spoken out repeatedly, sometimes passionately, sometimes angrily, sometimes in visible pain. Some people sympathize with her completely. Others criticize her, saying she should heal privately instead of continuing to speak publicly about the circumstances of her sons' deaths. There are even harsh voices who claim she contributed to their upbringing in ways that led them down dangerous paths. But pain does not follow a script. Grief does not move quietly just because others are uncomfortable. Chicago has lost countless lives to violence, and many mothers mourn in silence. Lashina chose a different path, one that keeps her sons' names alive in public conversation. Whether people agree with her approach or not, the reality is that she is a mother who buried her children. Every rumor, every theory, every argument about shooters and drivers is layered over that fundamental truth. In the end, the police reports leave room for debate. The streets leave room for suspicion. The internet amplifies both. But behind every analysis is a human cost. Brick ran that day. Kobe Mack fought. Shots rang out. And a mother's world shattered. Rest in peace to all who lost their lives. And beyond the theories and arguments, there remains a deeper question. Not just about who did what, but about how cycles like this continue, and whether healing is even possible in a city where the past never truly stays buried. From the fragments of what has been said, the story of Jermaine Fbg Brick Robinson reads like a tragic inevitability, a collision between circumstance, choice, and timing. Many have speculated, and continue to ask, how his killers knew he would be in that precise location at that precise time. It is a question that haunts the neighborhood, the community, and his family. Brick had not been living in Chicago full-time at the time. He had spent a period in Las Vegas, seemingly attempting to step back from the constant heat of Chicago street politics. He had moved away, trying to carve out some breathing room for himself, perhaps even a chance to focus on his family and music without constant threats looming over him. But the pull of home, of family, proved stronger than the need for distance. That weekend, he returned to Chicago for his son's baby shower, A family-centered event, a rare moment meant for joy, celebration, and connection.
I shot that off. Bah! When I shot that off, some type of way, Brick ended up getting shot. Brick ended up getting shot. Brick on the ground, he like, die why? Brick still talking shit about he on the ground. I ain't gonna flex, he on the ground, he shot, he, die why? Die why? 600K, BDK, who out the band? He saying this on the ground. Now, these
embracing the niggas who he grew up with, niggas who he looked up to, all them BDs. You see what I'm saying? Shout out to the IDBs, man. Shout out 39th Street, man. Shout out to Newtown. You know what I'm saying? It hit different, gang. You know? So, like, a lot of people don't know that. Buffalo be like, damn, Brick flip BD. Brick is BD. Yeah, nigga, Brick BD. J-Main BD too. Shit, Big, that used to be BD. Lil J BD. You know what I'm saying? Hell yeah, we BDK to the death of us, gang. But that don't change what folks them claim.
Different. 30. When you speak on Brick, what can you say about Brick? Brick was really like that, bro. It'd be a lot of internet, and it'd be a lot of this and a lot of that, and there'd be a lot of the guys, how people would say they'd be perceived one way, and then it'd be another way. Brick wasn't one of them guys, bro. Brick was one of them guys, bro.
These layers of affiliation make the situation more complicated than outsiders may realize. From what's been said, it sounds like Brick may have been set up. The question many still ask is, how did the opposition know he was in that exact area at that exact time? He had been living in Las Vegas for a period, seemingly distancing himself from Chicago's street politics. He returned home that weekend for his son's baby shower, a family-centered event.
On the West Coast with us, but just some in and tell them to go back. So when we went back, that shit happened.
Were you trying to stop him from going back to Chicago?
Yeah, me and Yella, shout out, really Yella was, because he was staying with Yella in Vegas. He haven't made it to Arizona yet. If he would have made it to Arizona, he would have really been stuck, because I would have made sure his ass wouldn't have left. You feel me? Like, unless we leave together. But yeah, he left. Yes, that shit happened.
Well, what was the effect on you, you know, losing the course?
I ain't gonna lie, that's the last funeral I've been to. I didn't even go to Duck's funeral. That was the last funeral I've been to. I can't see none of my homies like that no more. Like, that shit really hurted me. Like, the whole funeral, like, I was crying the whole time. Like, not teardrop crying, like really crying, snot booger nose crying. Like, that was one of my real homies, and he was with our opera with. So it's like, that effect was big. Like,
some who knew him and watched his movements believe that coming back into an environment still simmering with conflict made him vulnerable, almost as if his very return had been noticed, anticipated, and recorded by those who wanted to harm him. Official records confirm the harsh reality. Jermaine Fbg Brick Robinson was killed in 2017, 3 years before his younger brother, Carlton Fbg Duck Weekly Williams, would also lose his life in 2020. Brick was only 26 years old. That fateful Monday afternoon, he and his friend Stanley Kobe Mack, Jacoby, were shot in the Woodlawn neighborhood on Chicago's South Side, a neighborhood that had been a stage for countless stories of ambition, struggle, survival, and heartbreak. Police reports indicate that law enforcement responded around 2:50 p.m. to the 6300 block of South St. Lawrence. One of the victims was discovered in front of a residence with a gunshot wound to the head. The other was found in a rear gangway, riddled with gunshot wounds to the back and arm. Both were pronounced dead at the scene. Subsequent autopsies confirmed that they had died from multiple gunshot wounds, and their deaths were officially ruled homicides. At the time, no arrests were made. The case, like many in neighborhoods shadowed by gang violence, was complicated by fear, secrecy, and the often unspoken code of silence that protects those who might have seen something. As an artist, Brick was more than just a name on social media or a performer in music videos. He was part of Chicago's drill scene, connected to the Flyboy gang, Fbg. He performed alongside and under the influence of his younger brother, Fbg Duck. The group was notorious for its public feuds, diss tracks, and frequent confrontations with rival artists and crews. Brick's most recognized work, a music video titled Another One, remains a reminder of his presence in the scene. Kobe Mack, though closely tied to the Fbg circle, did not pursue music publicly with the same intensity, but his loyalty and presence in the community were equally significant. Yet beyond music and street affiliations, there is the human story. Brick as a person, a son, a brother, a father. He had grown up in an environment rife with challenges, including early interactions with the justice system and a childhood marked by hardship. Those who knew him well described him as someone with a fundamentally good heart, shaped and molded by circumstances rather than choice alone. In neighborhoods like his, survival often dictates identity, allegiance, and behavior. Choices are limited, options are constrained, and the line between right and wrong can become blurred under pressure. The deaths of Brick and Fbg Duck resonate particularly strongly because of the timing of their losses. Brick was killed just after a family celebration, the baby shower of his son. Fbg Duck would later die while shopping for his child's birthday. These moments, which should have been filled with joy, safety, and family togetherness, were instead interrupted by violence. It's this cruel irony that amplifies the grief and the sense of tragedy. The circumstances of Brick's death are entangled in conflicting narratives. Some insist O Block was responsible, while others argue O Block's focus was on tensions with GDK at that time. Another version points to ongoing friction with Jaro City, with the feud allegedly escalating after an incident where members of Jaro City tried to set Brick up over a firearm. Brick reportedly refused to comply, and the confrontation reportedly became physical, with Brick striking back, breaking multiple jaws. This escalation is said to have transformed what may have been loose affiliations into a more direct and hostile conflict. The pressure from ongoing rivalries may have influenced Brick's decision to leave Chicago for Las Vegas for a period. It was a chance to distance himself from dangerous confrontations, to start anew, and perhaps to focus on building his music career. But despite this temporary escape, Brick returned home. He was reportedly drawn back by family obligations, by a sense of nostalgia, and by the desire to participate in his son's baby shower. The return to Chicago, however brief, placed him back in a tense, volatile environment where danger still lurked in the shadows. Speculation about betrayal also circles around Brick's death. Some insist it was not a backdoor situation because friction already existed between the parties involved. Others argue that betrayal plays a role whenever former allies turn into adversaries. Accounts suggest that Brick greeted individuals who would later target him, a moment that, in hindsight, raises chilling questions about familiarity, trust, and the knowledge his assailants may have had about his routines. Some reports even suggest that the attackers were aware of a gangway escape route that was not widely known, hinting at inside information. On the day of the shooting, Brick reportedly came outside with plans to visit Tuka's grave. A car drove past, and he acknowledged the occupants. Moments later, the vehicle returned, and violence erupted. Kobe Mack had no chance to escape. Brick attempted to run, but was cut off by assailants strategically positioned nearby. Critics argue that he should not have returned to Chicago, given the level of ongoing conflict. Yet, despite the danger, he came for family. He had been in Las Vegas with his partner. That afternoon seemed like many other afternoons in the neighborhood, calm on the surface, but always carrying a sense of tension underneath. Jermaine Fbg Brick Robinson and his cousin, Stanley Kobe Mack, had received a phone call earlier that day. The call invited them to go to Tuka's grave. Visiting the grave was something people in their circle sometimes did to pay respect and remember those who had passed away. It was not unusual for friends and relatives to meet up before going there together. Brick and Kobe were sitting on a porch in the neighborhood where they had grown up. The houses, streets, and alleys around them were familiar. They had spent many years in that area, walking those blocks, talking with neighbors, and building friendships. Even though life in that part of Chicago often carried danger, there were also moments of normal life. People sitting outside, children playing, neighbors talking across porches, and cars slowly passing through the streets. That day, Brick and Kobe were waiting for friends before heading to the cemetery. The moment felt quiet and ordinary. They sat and talked while they waited. For a short time, everything seemed calm. Moments like that were rare for people who had lived around conflict and tension for so long. For a few minutes, it was simply two cousins sitting together in the neighborhood they knew so well. But that quiet moment did not last long. Suddenly, a car appeared on the street. At first, it may have seemed like any other vehicle passing through the neighborhood. Cars came and went all the time. But within seconds, the situation changed. Gunfire erupted, breaking the silence of the block. The sound of shots echoed through the street and nearby alleys. In just a few seconds, everything changed. Jermaine Fbg Brick Robinson's life ended abruptly that afternoon. He was only 26 years old. He was a young father, a brother, a son, and someone who had hopes of building a future through music and family. His cousin, Stanley Kobe Mack, was also shot and killed during the attack. The violence happened quickly, but the impact would last far longer than those few moments. After the shooting, confusion spread through the neighborhood. People nearby heard the gunshots and began trying to understand what had happened. Some neighbors came outside to see what was going on. Others stayed inside out of fear. In areas where violence has happened before, people often know how dangerous it can be to be outside when gunfire erupts. Word about the shooting began spreading almost immediately. First, people started talking about it on social media. Messages and posts appeared quickly as people shared what they had heard. Some said one person had been shot. Others said there were multiple victims. At first, even the police were unsure exactly what had happened or how many people had been hurt. As more information came out, the reality became clear. 2 people had lost their lives that afternoon. When the news spread through Woodlawn, grief and fear moved through the neighborhood. Many people in the community knew Brick or knew someone who knew him. News like this travels quickly in close neighborhoods where families and friendships connect many people. One of the hardest moments came when Brick's mother, LaShayna Weekly, later known widely as Mama Duck, learned about the shooting. Like many parents who hear sudden news about violence involving their children, her first reaction was disbelief. She rushed toward the scene, hoping and praying that the reports were wrong. Parents often hope that rumors are exaggerated or mistaken. In those moments, many hold on to the hope that their child might still be alive. But when she arrived, the truth was impossible to escape. Her son had been killed. Jermaine Robinson, her child, was gone. He left behind a family, friends, and a young child who would grow up without fully knowing him. For a parent, that kind of loss creates a pain that words can hardly describe. In the days and weeks that followed, Mama Duck spoke publicly about the deep pain she felt.
All of a sudden, the block get empty. Then 3 minutes later, I'm about to walk away, but see, that could have been some ops, but what me up? What ops you know gonna sit in the back of a crib that they know Brick in front of? And he know the cut. This a new cut. The ops ain't even know about this cut. No, he gonna be right there. I go to this lady house, like I still see the bullet holes in the gate when I go on 63rd St. Louis. And I look at it. These mother
knew Brick was gonna jump or try to get away. Now, when they ran up on my cousin, they say he was wrestling with whoever with the gun, and that's how he got shot in his face, trying to stop them from shooting at Brick. Now, Brick was shot 6 times. He was shot twice in the back, twice in the butt, once in the arm. Altogether, he was shot 6, but the last shot was point blank range under his right? So that means the knew my son. Now, he probably got hit as he jumped the gate. He didn't get the face shot until he got to the back, and the was waiting right there for him because they knew he was going to jump that gate. Now, what ops you know going to sit there for at least hours, wait for all the everybody. Wait a minute, this the killer. They came from King Drive, past Vernon, where everybody was out, where everybody wanted, they want everybody on Vernon just to come and get Kobe and Brick. They passed everybody on Vernon just to come. Then there was another waiting in the back. Then a witness called my mother's friend phone and say, I just heard a lot of shooting and Corey just ran through the gangway. Rest in peace, Corey. He could have been trying to get away from the shooting. You either a witness or you a to the cops. Because if he running through the gangway, it was seen how if some ops coming over here shoot.
She described the heartbreak of not knowing exactly what her son's final moments were like. She talked about the long and painful waiting period before official confirmation came from authorities. That waiting time can be one of the most difficult experiences for families, filled with fear, hope, and uncertainty. Even after the truth was confirmed, the emotional emptiness remained. The place where the shooting happened, the 6300 block of South St. Lawrence, became more than just another street in Chicago. For many people connected to Brick and Kobe, that location became a symbol of loss and tragedy. Friends, neighbors, and family members gathered there to mourn and remember the two men whose lives had ended so suddenly. People cried, hugged one another, and tried to understand how something so devastating could happen so quickly. Acts of violence like this often last only seconds, but the emotional consequences can last for many years. After Brick's death, Mama Duck and his younger brother, Carlton Fbg Duck Weekly Williams, made efforts to keep his memory alive. They did not want people to remember him only for street conflicts or rumors. They wanted people to understand the human side of who he was. Mama Duck spoke about Brick as her child, the boy she raised, the young man who became a father, the brother who cared for his siblings, and the friend who shared moments of laughter and struggle with people around him. For families who lose loved ones to violence, preserving memories can become very important. It helps ensure that the person is remembered as a full human being, not only as a name connected to tragedy. Fbg Duck also honored his brother through music. In the drill rap scene of Chicago, music often reflects real experiences from the streets. Through songs and videos, artists sometimes speak about loss, loyalty, and the difficult environment they grew up in. Duck used his platform to remember his brother and make sure Brick's name continued to be heard. Meanwhile, the police faced serious challenges while investigating the shooting. In neighborhoods where violence has happened repeatedly, witnesses are often afraid to speak with authorities. Fear of retaliation can prevent people from sharing what they saw or heard. This creates a difficult situation for investigators trying to piece together exactly what happened. There is also what many people call an unspoken code of silence. Some residents believe speaking to police could bring danger to themselves or their families. Because of this, even people who witness parts of a crime may choose not to come forward. This makes solving cases extremely difficult. Brick had returned to the 63rd Street area after spending time in prison. His prison sentence ended in 2016. After that, he came back to reconnect with family members and old friends in the neighborhood. Over time, some parts of the area had changed. New people had moved in, and certain things in the community had evolved. But many of the deeper problems, gang rivalries, neighborhood tensions, and ongoing conflicts, still remained. Returning to that environment carried risks. Even if someone came back simply to see family or rebuild their life, the old conflicts could still exist. Brick's earlier time in Las Vegas showed that he had tried to step away from the constant tension in Chicago. Las Vegas gave him distance from the streets where many conflicts had developed. During his time there, he tried to focus on a new start. Being in another city allowed him space to think about his future and spend time with family without the same daily pressures. He also began focusing more seriously on music. Following the path of his younger brother, Fbg Duck, Brick started releasing more music videos and songs. He hoped to build a career and create opportunities through music. For many artists from difficult environments, music becomes a way to express life experiences and possibly change their future. One of Brick's most recognized songs was called Another One. The music video gained attention among fans of Chicago's drill music scene. For him, it represented a step forward in his effort to establish himself as an artist. But even music success cannot always erase the realities of the environment someone grew up in. The rivalries, tensions, and dangers connected to the streets often remain present in the background. Even when someone moves away for a period of time, those conflicts can follow them. In the end, Brick's story shows how complicated life can be for young people growing up in environments filled with both opportunity and danger. He had talent, ambition, and people who cared about him. But he also lived in a world where old conflicts and difficult circumstances could quickly become deadly. His death was more than just a headline in the news. For his family, it was the loss of a son, a brother, and a father. For his friends, it was the loss of someone they had grown up with and shared many memories with. For the community, it was another painful reminder of how violence can affect entire neighborhoods. Chicago has faced many tragedies connected to violence over the years. Each loss leaves behind families struggling to heal and communities searching for answers. Jermaine Fbg Brick Robinson's life ended far too soon. He was someone trying to navigate a difficult path between the environment he came from and the future he hoped to build. His story continues to resonate not only with those who knew him personally, but also with people who understand how quickly life can change in communities where conflict and hardship are part of everyday reality, is something many people in those neighborhoods understand very well. In places where violence and tension have existed for many years, people often live with a constant awareness that things can change in an instant. One moment people may be sitting outside, talking with friends or family, laughing, and enjoying a normal day. The next moment, something unexpected can happen that changes everything forever. That reality shapes the way many people grow up and live their lives in those environments. For families and communities who experience these tragedies, the impact does not end when the news headlines fade away. The pain continues long after the cameras are gone and the public attention moves somewhere else. Parents continue to remember their children. Brothers and sisters continue to think about the moments they shared growing up. Friends remember conversations, jokes, and memories that will never happen again. The loss stays with them through birthdays, holidays, and everyday moments that once included the person who is now gone. For those who loved Jermaine Fbg Brick Robinson, his memory continues to live on. They remember the person he was beyond the headlines and beyond the stories people tell online. To them, he was not just a name connected to a tragedy. He was a son who grew up in a family that cared about him. He was a brother who shared years of childhood memories with his siblings. He was a father whose child will grow up hearing stories about him. He was also a friend to many people who spent time with him in the neighborhood. The streets of Chicago's South Side were the place where he spent much of his life. Those streets hold memories of his childhood, his friendships, and the experiences that shaped him into the person he became. People who knew him can still picture him walking through the neighborhood, talking with friends, or spending time outside on the same blocks where they all grew up together. Even though his life ended too soon, the memories people hold about him continue to exist. Stories about his life are shared among family members and friends. Music he created remains online, allowing people to hear his voice and remember the time when he was trying to build something for himself through his art. In communities that have faced so much loss, remembering those who have passed away becomes very important. It helps families hold on to the good moments they experienced together. It reminds people that behind every tragedy there was a real human life, filled with dreams, struggles, and relationships. And for the people who truly knew and loved him, Jermaine Fbg Brick Robinson will always be remembered not just as someone from the South Side, but as a person whose life touched many others. His memory continues to live on in the hearts of those who cared about him, far beyond the South Side streets he once called home.
First off, man, I keep hearing a lot of shit on the internet saying you related to Duck, y'all brothers.
That's my blood, little brother.
Like blood?
Blood, same mama.
Wow.
Bro, same mama, different dad.
So where you been at, man, when Duck came up, him and Black and, you know what I'm saying, and Lil J, everybody was going crazy. What was you at around that time?
Shit, I was doing hard time in county jail, Scott.
Yeah?
4 years and 2 months to be exact.
Pardon me, let me let this out. Okay.
4 years and 2 months in that.
What you was fighting, bro?
3 armed habitual gun cases.
You serious?
Yeah.
How old you is, Brick?
26.
Jesus, man. But you home now. Welcome home.
Yeah, I'm home. Been out 8 months now. I came home August 10th, though. Got straight to it, man.
Got straight to it.
Straight to it. I was in there writing a lot of shit, putting shit together, you know.
Who you was locked up with, bro?
Shit, so many bro. A lot of them.
Give me a few names.
I'll give y'all a few big names. Baby from 46.
Zoo
from 46.
Okay.
Yeah. Courtney from TYB. Trey 5 from O Block. Royce from Lemron. Well, I guess he ain't Lam no more. Shit. A whole lot of bro. A lot of y'all favorite rappers, favorite drillers, killers, whatever y'all want to call them.
So how they was treating you in that?
I shot that off. Bah! When I shot that off, some type of way, Brick ended up getting shot. Brick on the ground, he like, die why? Brick still talking shit about he on the ground. I ain't gonna flex, he on the ground, he shot, he, die why? 600K, BDK, who out the band? He saying this on the ground. Now, these out the blue, everybody out the blue. They saying my homie did in the shit, like telling the police now coming up the hoes that's with them, telling the police that my homie Roro and them, Rondo and them shot at them. Man, they booked folks and them, locked folks them up, sent them to juvenile. It was like, yeah, matter of fact, we will.
Embracing the niggas who he grew up with, niggas who he looked up to, all them BDs. You see what I'm saying? Shout out to the IDBs, man. Shout out 39th Street, man. Shout out to Newtown. You know what I'm saying? It hit different, gang. You know? So, like, a lot of people don't know that. Buffalo be like, damn, Brick flip BD. Brick is BD. Yeah, nigga, Brick BD. J-Main BD too. Shit, Ben, that used to be BD. Lil J BD. You know what I'm saying? Hell yeah, yeah, we BDK to the death of us, gang. But that don't change what folks them claim.
Different. 30. When you speak on Brick, what can you say about Brick? Brick was really like that, bro. It'd be a lot of internet, and it'd be a lot of this and a lot of that, and there'd be a lot of the guys, how people would say they'd be perceived one way,
and then it'd be another wave. Brick wasn't one of them guys, bro. Brick was one of them guys, bro.
On the West Coast with us, but just some in and tell them to go back. So when we went back, that shit happened.
Were you trying to stop him from going back to Chicago?
Yeah, me and Yellow, shout out. Really Yellow was because he was staying with Yellow in Vegas. He haven't made it to Arizona yet. If he would have made it to Arizona, he would have really been stuck because I would have made sure his ass would have left. You feel me? Like, unless we leave together. But yeah, he left. Yes, that shit happened.
Well, what was the effect on you, you know, losing the car?
I ain't gonna lie, that's the last funeral I've been to. I didn't even go to Duck funeral. That was the last funeral I've been to. I can't see none of my homies like that no more. Like, that shit really hurting me. Like, the whole funeral, like, I was crying the whole time. Like, not teardrop crying, like really crying, snot booger nose crying. Like, that was one of my real homies, and he was with what I was with. So it's like, that effect was big. Like,